What's up guys, Csaba here from Game of Conversions, and I'm back with another proven sales letter breakdown video. Today we are on the 54th day, and I want to break down a really cool sales letter from Chris Haddad. Now, if you haven't heard about Chris Haddad before, he's unquestionably considered to be one of the best storytellers out there at the moment. So his copy style is this punch in the gut style storytelling, which is super powerful. We all know it, that stories really connect with people, and it's one of the best ways to actually convert people into customers, to reframe their pre-existing beliefs. And Chris Haddad really is a masterful new age copywriter who uses these super punch in a gut style stories to sell products mainly in the dating niche, in the women's relationship and dating niche. And the promotion that we're going to look at today is also one of these. It's called Language of Lust. And as you'll see, it's quite spicy, but this is what people in his target audience want to hear. So please, I'm telling you upfront, if you get triggered by more explicit words or more explicit ideologies or something like that, or gender politics, please chill out, because this video is purely a copywriting case study, okay? You see this here? It says Clickbank. This Clickbank basically is a collection of the best running offers and affiliate offers for various info products and supplements and all these stuff on the Clickbank platform, which is huge, massive. Billions of dollars of sales are generated every single month here. And this is one of the best performing products in the women's relationship niche ever. Or in the guys' relationship niche, because I think maybe this is one. I don't know. This is the first time I'm actually looking at this promotion, so there's no notes here. I'm going completely blind, but I wanted to make this little experiment to see what I'm going to be able to get out of this. Reading it first time, going through it first time. Yeah, this is probably guy's product. Yeah, the Language of Lust. So yeah, it seems like this is a newer offer for him, for Chris Haddad, and he's trying to sell this to guys. Just don't make the mistake of thinking that even though you don't like something in the headline or something like that, then it's not effective. It's crazy effective. This is what people want to hear, regardless of politics, regardless of wokeness, regardless of anything else, okay? This is what people secretly desire, even if they don't talk about it. And master copywriters know that. So let's jump into it. And by the way, this has a video version and the sales letter version itself. This is the sales letter version, but there's also a video version, which is also called the video sales letter, okay? And before we get into it, then if you're enjoying these videos, maybe you're new to my channel, maybe you aren't, please make sure to like this video, because it really helps out a lot with the algorithm. It gets these videos into more people's recommended feeds, which is great, because there's no such thing as this type of proven sales letter library, especially for free on YouTube. And I'm going to build the largest one. That's my mission with this one. So if you also want to help me out with that, then please consider liking the video, commenting, subscribing, all that good stuff. So let's jump into it. Finally revealed for the first time ever, how to make any woman sexually obsessed with you and only you without even touching her. Interesting. So we have a pre-head here, which hints at like a new opportunity, finally revealed for the first time ever. So this is something really new, and we all know that you really have to showcase the newness in a headline. How to make any woman sexually obsessed with you. And this is basically a fascination. I've done plenty of videos about fascinations before. Make sure to check it out. I'm going to leave a link to the whole playlist of these proven sales letter breakdown videos below this video in the description section. Check it out, because writing good fascinations is key to copywriting. So this is basically a how-to fascination, any woman sexually obsessed with you. So this is the number one benefit that guys want, guys in this target audience at least. So basically single guys who are more interested in dating, in pickup, probably people who aren't necessarily alpha males. So I'm guessing right off the bat that this is for guys who have trouble connecting with women, dating or getting to know women, or maybe even like opening them, or they don't even know what to say or how to behave or something like that. So this is really powerful for audiences like that, and there's a lot of people like that out there, especially nowadays. And then we have "and only you," which is nice because it kind of triggers that little privatization emotion in guys. What I mean by this is that, we want to that we have an innermost core desire, most people, to possess someone. And even though it's not really politically correct to talk about these things, deep down inside, many people in this target audience want this. So they want a sexually obsessed woman, but they also want a monogamous relationship. Okay, so they don't necessarily want to date around too much, or attract women who are very flaky, or who like to date around, mess around with other guys as well. No, this is like, hey, you gain the power, the sexual power over women, and only you will be in charge. That's what people want deep down inside, primordially, and we can like it, we can disregard it. That's that. So without even touching her, this is actually an objection handling thing here, because I'm guessing some people are afraid of touching them. So this is language of lust. So what to say to them. Okay, this is more like an instant gratification type of thing. It's like after you go through this course, you're going to know what to say to a woman that you like, so that they become sexually obsessed with you. So all in all, pretty powerful headline. And notice the design as well. It's red, so which is obviously the color of lust and desire, but you also have these little word boxes here. It's like for comic books you have these things, and it's really good because it immediately conveys the idea that this talks about the language of lust. Okay, so what to say to them. So it helps immediately clarify what this whole thing is about. And then we have a subhead which says, even better, she'll have no idea what you're doing, why she's suddenly repulsed by other guys, and why she's suddenly so desperate to give you everything you crave. You must read this right now or miss out on the greatest sexual opportunity for average regular men in over 1,000 years. Yes, exactly. So the subhead it just piles on a few more benefits. So we have new opportunity, key benefit. We have kind of a tease to the unique mechanism in the sense that you only have to say certain stuff to them. You don't even have to touch them. And then we have even more benefits. It's it has that little sexual tension as well. So that's why I said Chris Haddad, who wrote this, is considered to be one of the best storytellers out there, as well as a modern day John Carlton, for example, in that he uses very strong evocative words and language, and it paints a deep visual picture with his copy, and that's really powerful. She's suddenly so desperate to give you everything you crave. Imagine our target audience. They're probably frustrated sexually as well. They don't have enough confidence. They don't know what to say. They don't know how to meet women, how to pick them up, how to maybe even stay in relationships. They might have certain psychological issues when it comes to their relationship with their mothers. It's a really common thing. My fiance is actually a therapist, a psychologist, and we talk about many cases like these because I also have a bachelor's in psychology and I'm very familiar with a lot of these pathologies, and this is real for most guys. After reading this, they become curious on reading more, and that's what you want, so that they read more and more and more. And then we have the new opportunity, the greatest sexual opportunity for average regular men. This is like to qualify the potential target audience in over 1,000 years. Okay, it's over the top, it's hypey, I know, but this is what you need in a super crowded niche like the dating niche, because people have heard everything. And yes, they are super skeptical and super jaded, but that's where stories and proof comes in later. But first, you just have to grab their attention just for a split second so that they actually start listening to you and start reading more and more and more, and they get more absorbed into your world as a copywriter. That's what you want. And as you might see from the design of this page, it has a lot of blink to it. So it's like plenty of yellow, plenty of red, plenty of bold, big text, you know. It's not pretty at all, but this is what converts. So I get cranked up so many times when I work with certain clients, and, you know, they have designers on the team as well. And I get it, you know, designers also have a very important job, but copy always comes before design. If you want to convert people, that is, if you want to sell something. If you just want to make a beautiful website, design is more important than copy, probably. And you can fit your copy in pre-designed little templates. But if you really want to like sell something, if you want to convince people to do something, to persuade, then copy is way more important than design. And it's the designer's job to create a design that basically highlights your copy. And sometimes that objectively isn't pretty at all. It's not really something that seems visually that pleasing to the eye. This isn't really that, but it's definitely something that that's eye-catching. And also, the video version of this is something called the text-based video sales letter. It's also called ugly VSL. So we're going more into marketing territories here, not just copywriting, but like it's important for you to know this because copywriting and marketing strategy are very, very, very close together. They're intertwined, they're linked absolutely. So good copywriters are always marketing strategists as well, and in most cases vice versa. Like the best marketers know how important copy is. And the video version of this basically has a paragraph like this on a slide. And it's basically just a slideshow with this and this and then this. So we are already at 3 slides, and this and this and this. So basically they just copy pasted it here with a little design tweaks. Okay. So yeah, let me just read the hook, the lead for you, okay? Because the first few paragraphs are the lead of the sales letter. This is the headline, which grabs attention, but like then you want to build emotional connection with people, and that's the job of the lead. So let's see how they're doing it. So Chris Haddad goes like, "Hi, I'm Lawrence Lanoff, but by the time you're done reading this letter, you'll join thousands of other men and women who call me the Darth Vader of dirty talk." Interesting, because this just gives a little flair to him. "And right there, right now, I'm going to let you in on a blistering secret about female lust that man-hating feminists and sleazy pickup artists are terrified you'll find out." Wow, it's interesting, right? It keeps you engaged. It's like now you have the instant gratification aspect, blistering secret. Once again, it's a secret, but it's a blistering secret. It assumes that it has something painful to it or something. It assumes that it's gonna debunk a few myths. Female lust, this is something that's very mystical to our target audience. Think about it. They're guys who are most likely not that successful with women, and they wanna like find out what's the secret, what's the mystery of these guys who are really successful with women. And then we have, like, deep down, like, think about it. Once again, it's not politically correct, but look, you cannot be vanilla with good copy. You can either try to please everybody, but nobody will be pleased, only to a certain degree, or you can go and narrow down to a certain target audience, and then you validate their pre-existing beliefs. It's not about you as the writer, it's about them. And if they believe that there are man-hating feminists who are out there to destroy guys nowadays, with all this wokeness and everything, then that's what you have to give them. And if they believe that even pickup artists are sleazy and they're just using women for sex, basically, then this is what you have to give them. And kind of probably there are some truth to these things. But you see how Chris Haddad is pre-validating their already existing beliefs. You don't want to manufacture beliefs, you just have to tap into their existing ones. Very important. And I tell it in every single video, basically, but it's super important. And then we continue. A secret that will immediately open a sexual buffet to you filled with variety, lust, and sweaty, amazing intensity you thought women only faked in porn movies. Wow. Like, at this point, most of these guys are salivating. This is their deepest desire. It's not politically correct, but this is their deepest desire. And will give you the power to make even the nicest, most conservative, and most innocent girl come like a freight train on command without even touching her. Oh my god, wow. So I hope YouTube doesn't ban this video because of the language, but like, wow. This is raw, and you better believe it converts with the right audience. Like, think about it. This pisses off 50% of people, definitely, and it immediately gets the other 50% to fall in love with this copy because it's just so raw. Like, wow. Okay, and you know, deep down, what most of these guys desire is to have the power over women. And this actually reminds me of a quote. I don't know exactly who said it, but said, it might have been Robert Greene, you know, the writer of the 48 Laws of Power, a great book, by the way, 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene. I definitely recommend it. But he said that, you know, for guys, for most heterosexual guys, everything in life is about sex, except sex, because sex is about control. And it's really nicely validated here because a lot of people have this inner fantasy to have control over women, especially guys who are more like beta males. So to have control over women, and they have this secret fantasy of like converting even the nicest, most conservative, and most innocent girl, you know, the girl next door type, into like a crazed sex machine. That's what they want. And once again, the copy has given it to them. Oh, and just so you don't make any excuses, objection handling, preemptively, this secret I'm revealing in about 15 seconds, so this is like a loop to get their attentions there, will have gorgeous women clawing at your pants and ripping open your fly with their teeth, often 2 or 3 at a time, even if you're short, broke, fat, or old. Even if your cock is so small it looks like it belongs on an action figure. Wow, guys, this is wow. Okay, so I think this is the spiciest copy that I've ever reviewed in this, on camera at least. So, like, think about it. This is like hypnotizing for the right target audience, okay? So it's like it keeps their attention, and the whole point of this lead is to just keep people's attention. And is it keeping your attention? If you're not pissed off yet, and you're still watching this video, then first of all, cool that you're here. But secondly, like, I'm guessing you're also, especially if you're a guy, you're interested in this, right? You want to know, like, whoa, like, what's up with that? I want to find out. I don't want to buy the product, but I do want to find out a little bit, right? And then we even have like qualifications and objection handling. It's like, even if you're short, broke, fat, and old, these are all things that like most people think that these are the biggest turnoffs for women, and they are in most cases. But if you're a smooth talking guy, like, I'm sure that we've all seen these examples of short, broke, fat, old guys who are smooth talkers, showing up with gorgeous women because like they have the charisma and the confidence to pull it off, and obviously the good like smooth talking ability. And even if your cock is so small, this is just humor, I think. So it just makes people laugh a little bit, so that their pre-existing objections and their armor basically is chipped away one at a time. And then eventually, when it's all gone, that's when the product is pitched. So then we continue. It literally does not matter how repulsive to women you are, how much money you make, or even how often you take a bath. If you just read what I have to say, like a growing army of guys have already, this is just implied proof here, you'll be spreading women's tides on command. Like sex and control. That's what guys want deep down inside. Even if some people don't like it. That's what they want deep down. That's what they desire. Why? This is like the reason why here. I don't know whether you've read Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why, but like it gives you a good idea of why is here. Go read that book as well, Start With Why. So why? Because the feminist nightmare has finally come true. And it's incredible, fantastic, amazing news for everybody with a dick and the desire to use it. In fact, if you're a guy between 20 and 73 and you aren't sleeping with at least 3 different women a week and you're not just letting yourself down, you're disappointing every one of your male ancestors for thousands of years who would kill to have sexual opportunity you've just dropped in your lap. Wow. So this is obviously there to establish the us versus them little conundrum, because what a lot of people in our target audience believe is that there are like angry women, feminists, or a lot of people out there, mostly women, who are trying to like destroy men, especially alpha type of men, because they are intimidated by them and they want to like act revenge upon them or something like that. Okay, now whether it's true or not, let's not get into it, but the main idea here is that this is what our target audience believes, so this is what Chris Haddad gives them, and it immediately builds a lot of bond. So this is the know, like, and trust factor. Okay, very, very important things in the conversion context. So if you want to convert anybody into a believer, a buyer, a subscriber, a reader, a wife, a husband, anything you want, basically, you got to establish the know, like, and trust factor first. And this is what this part is doing. And by being polarizing, it's also building know, like, and trust with the right target audience. And it's weeding out other people who get pissed off by this, obviously. So, and we get a little tease to the evolutionary biology and evolutionary psychology history. And I'm guessing, most of the sales letter will talk about these things, how, our ancestors, it was all about sex and control, and how selective pressure and natural selection played a part in, like, I don't know, men's brains being wired certain way and stuff like that. So then after this lead, this is the lead, and it's obviously very effective in getting people to pay attention. Then you have a little authority build-up section for the guru behind this promotion. So in most cases, the copywriter writes the text, but there's a face, a guru, an expert who is like the brand image. Okay, and for this particular course, he is the brand image. He's probably like a dating coach or something like that. So we go, who the hell am I to make such huge promises and such crazy claims? And why is the feminist nightmare going to lead to you getting laid on autopilot? Interesting question. This is a nice philosophical question. A lot of old school copywriters use this as well. It just gets people thinking. And this feminist nightmare, it sounds really, really unique, okay? It sounds really something that's like, wow, I know that there's something up with feminists, but like, feminist nightmare, what's up with that? I want to find out. So then we get a little intro to this guy. Like I said, my name is Lawrence Lanoff. I'm 50 years old, skinny, bald, big objection handlings there, and I've got a completely average cock. Once again, a objection handling there, which also serves as like humor, and I think it also builds even more know, like, and trust with the target audience, because if there was this alpha male guy with like a 9-inch cock here, it would definitely intimidate most people and it wouldn't be relatable. But this guy is totally relatable. He seems like an average guy who has confidence and probably knows. He seems like this magician, this word magician, who knows what to say, and he figured out something, but nothing really that special. And by saying that, my cock is even average, it kind of disarms him. And whenever, like, think about it from an evolutionary perspective between dogs. Whenever two dogs who are playing, but like they also have some aggressiveness towards each other. If one of them lays on its back and does this, spreads like this, it signals that he disarmed, and he gives the control to the other dog. And to the other dog, that means like, okay, so my hierarchy position is saved. I don't have to fear this other dog. He's not going to challenge my position, so I feel more relaxed with the other dog. And that's what's happening here. This guy, even though he's like in expert position, he immediately disarms himself, and that way he becomes way more relatable. Really cool. So, and in order to tell you how you're going to open the door to abundant, incredible sex with a ton of eager women, I have to tell you about the most humiliating moment of my entire life. So this opens up the nightmare story. And how the feminists winning the battles of the sexes is the best damn thing to happen to your cock since you first learned to masturbate. Wow, like I'm super interested about this, like how Chris Haddad is going to twist this, like how toxic feminism is actually good for guys. And probably, I think the argument will be probably something like, most guys are so emancipated or something, like they're pushed down, so that women are actually longing for guys who have confidence, who have charisma, who know what to say, and then you have less competition. I think that's what this is going to go for, but I don't know. So then we have warning. If you've ever been rejected by a girl, what I'm about to tell you may trigger feelings of embarrassment and rage in you. But whatever you do, it's incredibly important that you don't stop reading until you have the whole story. So open loop, read the entire story, because there's going to be a punchline. We have this warning. It's a reverse psychology type of thing. It's like this is hidden information that's powerful, that will maybe trigger you, okay? But like, you owe it to yourself, dear reader, to read this, because that's the truth. So that's what this part is communicating. And once again, everything so far is there to just keep people's attention, because otherwise they're gonna be like, I've heard it all, and like, they come up with all sorts of various objections. So that's why this is there, and it's needed. And this is where the story starts. And I just want to go through the story so that you see how good punch in the gut style effective storytelling goes, especially with modern day copywriting, and why it's so powerful in like reframing people's false beliefs and getting them to blindly trust even the guru. Okay, and this is the crux of the whole equation. If you can nail the story right, sales becomes an effortless process. So let's go through it. Get away from me, you creep, she screamed in disgust. So once again, we start in the middle of the action, which is good because it grabs attention. Suddenly, I felt my testicles crawl back into my body, and a flood of nausea and panic pulsed through me as every head in Trader Joe's whipped in our direction. She was hot, gorgeous actually, a 28-year-old brunette in tight yoga pants with the most beautiful pair of gravity-defying, all-natural D-cup tits I'd ever seen. Wow. Okay, so like think about it, this little intro, it's kind of like how movies begin. Like they start right in the action, right? And that's what keeps your attention. And by making everything so vivid, so graphic, it's like you start, if you're a guy at least, you start imagining those gravity-defying, all-natural D-cup tits. Okay, it's like you start to see the bounce almost, and that's what you want, because again, it starts something in the minds of our readers. Okay, it starts a very, very strong process of visualizing, of like imagining these things, and there's actually not much difference in our brain circuitry between real vision and imagination. Not that much. They still use the same circuitry, and that's why it's important for them to visualize, because then they start seeing themselves eventually as someone in that position. So then the story continues. 5 minutes ago, I'd seen her giving the broccoli a hard-on in the vegetable department. She smiled at me in a way that sent an electric tingle right to my crotch, licked her lips, toss her hair, and when she walked away, I caught the scent of her and felt something hungry rise up in me as I imagined her naked and writhing and moaning my name. Pretty visual, right? For 5 agonizing minutes, I dug through every line, every every way of approaching a girl this hot I'd ever heard. Wow, this is so effective because this is a preemptive objection handling element here, because these guys probably have tried, they try to follow RSD, which is real social dynamics, a pickup group. They're familiar with open lines, they are familiar with approaching girls, but they still have confidence issues. They've tried those things, they failed, and this little line answers the objection of why this is different. So then we continue. But I knew that the clock was ticking. It always is. I knew I had to talk to her before she left the store, before it was too late, or I'd regret it for the rest of my sexual life. Again, this is a big pain point that almost every single guy, or even women, experience, especially when they're not that successful with the other sex, because I also experienced this many times when I had a crush on someone, and I was too afraid to open them, and then I knew that time was ticking and I had to make a move, and then I didn't make a move, and then it felt horrible, or that when I made a move, I said something stupid, and I felt embarrassed. This is a universal, very strong pain point for the target audience. So then we continue. She was in the bread aisle when I found her again, bent over at the waist so I could get lost in her ass and tights and delicious toned calves. Her hands were caressing a loaf of gluten-free, fair trade, organic BS, whatever, in a way that made my heart pour and my mouth go dry. I took a deep breath and gathered my confidence. So notice how the story is so gripping. You're like this. If you're in the target audience, it's like, oh my God, what happens next? Did he get rejected? What happened? You can almost feel the pressure inside you as you're reading this. It's called empathy. You're feeling empathy for this person, okay? Because especially if you've been in this situation, you know how hard it is. So then we continue. I took a deep breath and gathered my confidence. I walked up to her, smiling and friendly, and with no hint at all of the pornography she'd inspired in my mind. Suddenly, her eyes flashed to mine like a deer in the woods. She parted her wet lips. I watched her incredible breasts rise and fall like waves I wanted to surf on, and as she took a long, deep breath on her own, I felt electricity and fire and anticipation for the sweaty, passionate, connected night I knew we were going to share together. Notice this copy, it's so vivid, it's so strong. Guys, this is the new standard, okay? This is what good copywriters do nowadays. It's dependent on the market, obviously, because you couldn't really do this for financial advisors if you were selling a course to them. But for most business to consumer markets, this would definitely work. And it's gripping. It's a very, very gripping story. And very importantly, it makes the reader want to future pace and paint the dream. They start imagining this, okay? This is NLP copy at its finest. So neuro-linguistic programming. This is hacking the reader's mind, basically, so that they start imagining this. So then we continue. And that's when she screamed and destroyed my world. It wasn't until months later that I could appreciate the incredible favor she'd done for me. So boom, we get the punch in the gut. She screamed. I opened her and she screamed. Oh my God, what a way to get rejected, right? What an embarrassing way. My neck spasmed and my jaw went tight like a bear trap. I was going to tell her how beautiful she looked, how it was women like her who made me so happy to be a man, so happy to be alive, when I said, "Get the hell away from me." She screamed. Wow. Okay, I was a little bit confused here. So, how it was the women like her who made me so happy to be a man, so happy to be alive when, and then we get a quote, "I said, get the hell away from me." So that's what the woman said. She screamed even louder this time, like a heavy metal guitar solo blasting in my ear. Once again, why do we have heavy metal guitar solo? Because most guys who are rockers or who are into metal or something, and I know because I used to have long hair for 6 years, by the way. Just a fun fact. These guys definitely have confidence issues. They definitely have problems approaching especially very, very sexy women. I stumbled back confused, away from the scent of her clouding my mind. And that's when I noticed the pack of scantily clad sorority girls start staring at me like I was some kind of monster. The roiled up musclehead in the shredded tank top, flexing his pecs like he couldn't wait to prove his masculinity and kick my ass. The fat security guard fingering his radio like it was Dirty Harry's revolver and reporting an assault for who knows who to hear. So, wow. Again, so vivid. You can definitely feel the incredible sense of shame that our guy in the story is having. This is really powerful. And then I almost cried and I felt the handcuffs snap closed around my wrist. Fuck. See, he was even arrested because of this. Talk about feeling shame. Wow. Strong hands dragged me by the arm like some 12-year-old boy caught throwing rocks at recess. I had hours to kill before things got sorted out. Hours to think, to torture myself for being so stupid as to walk up to a pretty girl in public in emasculated America. This is a real fear that a lot of people in the target audience have. It's like, sure, you lust after women, hot women, but at the same time, you have to be careful not to be labeled as a creep or something, or not to be sexually offend her or something. It's a really hard situation to juggle, especially for guys who don't really know how to really catch that middle ground. Okay, very powerful thing here. To make a decision that would change everything, not just for me, but for thousands of guys around the world just like you. This is like the new opportunity. Whenever you write a sales letter or you have a sales argument, you definitely want to communicate change, because people are ultimately buying change. They don't buy a product, they buy change. And if you can sell them the dream on this change, or if you can sell them the change, obviously, then you have a way better chance of converting them. I was so angry. Not at her, not even our PC security that treats men like dogs just for being guys, but at myself. There I was, a fully grown man who loves women, who was raised by women, and who was taught to always respect women, who would rather kill myself than ever hurt a woman. And in 3 terrible seconds, the girl in the yoga pants made me feel like a rapist. Wow, so powerful. When they released me, no charges after they saw the security tape, I went home and started and stared at myself in the mirror. And I saw what I always saw, a nice guy. A good guy. So why did she look at me that way? Why did she smile at me if she wasn't flirting with me? And why did she scream when I wanted to say hello? Why was it so wrong for me to want to talk to her, to want to make love to her? Why did I suddenly feel so disgusting? Good questions, right? I mean, these are nice philosophical questions. And we get, a transition into the unique mechanism of the problem, like figuring out. This is actually the hero's journey story. This guy, our guy, I don't remember his name, but he's experienced a trauma, just like Luke Skywalker. That's a great example of a hero's journey story, like Star Wars, basically. So Luke Skywalker experienced the trauma, and then he sets out on this journey of discovery. He seeks out mentors, he seeks out knowledge, he learns new skills, develops new abilities, and then he faces the monster, who is Darth Vader. Obviously, it's way more complex than this, but in a nutshell, this is what the whole hero's journey is about. And it's worked for thousands and even tens of thousands of years. Every single story that has stood the test of time has hero's journeys in them, like Odyssey, the Greek classic, even the Bible. It's many hero's journey stories. And I think it was actually Jordan Peterson who said in one of his podcast episodes that the Bible is still the reason why the Bible could stay like that even after thousands of years is because it probably had other stories as well, many other stories, but only the most resilient stories, only the stories that somehow connected with the core of being a human itself, the core of humanity, stayed on. Okay, those are very metaphorical stories, very primordial type of stories. They have a lot of symbolism, you know, and it had to cut out all the fluff. Like time erodes all the fluff. The one thing that remains is a story which speaks to the core of our emotions. And I remember when I was studying psychology, we had cultural anthropology as a subject, and there was this nice professor who basically discovered a whole new tribe in the Philippines, in those islands somewhere. And he said that on the tribe, you know, on that island, they didn't really have written language, but their entire culture was sang a few times every year together as the entire community via stories in songs. So this also shows how good stories, like information, is communicated very efficiently in stories, because that is what our brains evolved to remember most. So then let's just read until this, and then this video is going pretty long, but I think I'm gonna like create another video on this because this is so good. So then we go, I spent hours lying awake in bed that night, rubbing my wrists where the handcuffs had dug into them, tasting bile in my throat when I thought about what had happened, not just to me, but to men everywhere. I thought about the never-ending torrent of news stories about creepy guys who dared to look at a woman with lust, militant feminists celebrating the death of men, how more and more guys are fluking out of college, how all the powerful jobs are going to women, how having a dick is becoming a social handicap. I thought about guys in Japan and around the world giving up, deciding they'd rather be celibate for life than become an emasculated lapdogs the world is trying to turn them into. So this is just agitating the pain, okay? This is confirming pre-existing beliefs that our target audience is having in a very, very vivid way. That's what you want, once again. So, and then we get to the turning point. And then I thought of all women I knew, women who are lonely and horny and scared, you know, and how, you know, women had been brainwashed by the sexual misery. So then we get like a few cool points, and we get into the unique mechanism of the solution and what this guy has discovered, you know, passion word and linguistic triggers and powerful tricks and techniques. And then eventually soon we're going to get introduced to the product itself. But notice how it's not talking about the product at all. It starts with a powerful hook and a story. It tells the story and the discovery, the journey of discovery. Okay, the language is lost. Only here do we first meet the product. So I think I'm gonna end this video right now because we're already at 42 minutes. Wow. But I'm going to continue this because it's so good. It's so incredibly good. Yeah, here. Okay, so yeah, stay tuned for the next one. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to check that one out, because I think it's worth it. This is a sales letter that's crushing it. And let me tell you, this is bringing in tens of millions of dollars every month. Tens of millions of dollars probably. It's generating over 1,000 sales a day or something like that. Maybe just a few $1,000,000 every month, but still, man, a few $1,000,000 every month on front end with a very, very low priced offer. So it's really powerful. It's all because of copy. It's not because of the design. It's ugly, but it's all because of the copy. So this is how powerful copy could be. Now you see. So make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to catch the next video, and also please like this one so that it gets recommended to as many people as possible. I'm also going to probably use a cool little thumbnail for this one, but please make sure to help me out with this one, because I think this is masterful copy, and more copywriters deserve to know how good copy looks like. And now you can watch it for free on YouTube. So thank you so much. See you in the next one.